everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And I'm Jaime Fuego.
Back here at, of course, the 2018 Phoenix Film Festival and the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. And today we get to talk about a movie that we did a reaction for not terribly long ago, but
just a couple months, I think.
A couple months, yeah. We were pretty excited for it, though. I remember that much. And
I know you dug the director a lot,
yeah,
right?
especially because it's directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, who did No One Lives, a film that I'm a big fan of.
And Midnight Meat Train also?
Yep, Midnight Meat Train, and then also even Godzilla Final Wars in 2004. So he is an accomplished director, especially when it comes to fans of gore.
Yep.
No One Lives is a perfect example of some people don't even call it horror, but it's a bad guy picking off other bad guys for stealing his captive. And he ends up hiding in the body of an animal and stuff like that. Like it's
really?
It's really awesome stuff. So this was something I had high hopes for. Unfortunately, it ended up being a little bit underwhelming and a little bit in the vein of Revenge, which we also saw.
Yep, same festival here. And so, we're talking about a film called Downrange, guys. And, the trailer impressed me a lot. It looked grisly, it looked violent. It lived up to that, but it was where just the basic nature of the storytelling, I think, especially how they didn't really have much to do beyond what you see in the trailer. And so it kind of got old, I have to say.
A little bit, and they definitely take their time. So the plot of the film, the story, if we're going to get into it, is just, this is actually something I kind of liked about it, is that literally within the first 3 minutes, we're in it.
Yeah, they pulled no punches, right to it.
It's a group of people on a car ride, one can assume headed somewhere, and they break down or they pop a tire, and they pull off to the side of the road, and they're, trying to change the spare, and then one of them's wandering off trying to get a cell signal, and they're kind of like just meandering about, and all of a sudden, one of them drops on the other side of the car.
Pretty grisly shot,
Pretty
too.
Grisly, yeah. Well, we don't actually see what happens to him. We just hear it, and then someone walks around and sees kind of his body just sitting there with a big hole in his head.
The aftermath is what I was referring to.
Yeah. So we're not going to go too in depth on spoilers or anything like that, or all the different deaths, because there are a good amount of deaths. But that's basically it. A sniper it's kind of like Phone Booth, honestly.
In some ways,
I felt a little bit like that. They're pinned down on the other side of the car by a sniper who's just having fun picking people off.
One by one, and doing it very proficiently, too. Yeah, I mean, the guy is an expert marksman, obviously, and is just nutsoid, but we're not going to say if you really get anything about motivation or whatever. I mean, you just need to know the setup. I mean, these kids are just being shot to pieces one by one. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it just becomes, they try and do the tension train kind of thing, where you're just not sure who's going to get it or how or if or anything like that.
And split up. There's like one off, hiding somewhere else, and then there's a couple still by the vehicle. And so, I mean, they do faction off, but it's just so much of the same, was where it just kind of, once again, it got kind of repetitive. So
yeah, a little bit, but again, Kitamura does a good job with the gore, and so there is plenty of that.
The execution is very, very good.
Yeah, exactly. So the talk about the acting, because the story is just very basic. I thought the acting was serviceable. I didn't think it was overly impressive, but it didn't distract me from the film.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't really clear-cut who like the main survivor they focused on was going to be, because they kept it vague enough, I would say. And I mean, all of the performances were good enough, but I can't really say that one in particular necessarily stuck out for me.
No, I can't say that either. So I don't know that that's a knock against it, or a notch in its belt. I mean, it's kind of a low bar when you say, the acting wasn't distracting. But that's pretty much the most I can say about it.
Well, I mean, the acting being just that, not one person sticking out, it wasn't necessarily because any of them did it badly. I think maybe in some ways it was because they didn't want you to necessarily know who could be the next victim,
right.
And so they all kept them on kind of an equal plane of that. So Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly want to talk about the effects and just the practical look
Yeah,
of this
go
film
for it.
because that's where it shined, was in some of the mayhem that happens. Whether it's some car accident stuff that transpires, or whether it's just some of the shoot downs that happen. There's one scene in particular near the end with I think it's well, no, it's a rifle. It's a rifle, and I can't really divulge beyond that. It was one of the most interesting twists with the gore and stuff that I got to see. But so yeah, I guess in that department, having not seen Midnight Meat Train or what No One Lives, you said it's called, right? Yeah,
right.
I can't say that I had that bar to compare it to, but it was very well done and very, very grisly. And I mean, you could tell the guy knew what he was doing with just the angles of the carnage and everything. So I mean, he seemed very on point with that. Would you agree there?
Yeah, he absolutely is. And like you said, the effects are great. I mean, here's the only issue is, if you guys saw, what is it, Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Yeah.
Then you know that there's the very last shot, which is horrible. The very last shot in that movie is so fake because it's a prosthetic.
Which stunk because I really love that movie.
Yeah, but it drew you immediately out of the movie. And that's the problem that I have here, because some of the dead bodies clearly are such dummies that it immediately draws you out of it.
Yeah, heads being lost in certain parts.
Heads being lost in certain parts. Well, no, that stuff's fun for me.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, when a car rolls over previous carnage, that's really awesome.
That was a cool beat, man, I have to say.
I love that. Yeah, what I'm talking about is that first body that we see just like sitting up with a hole in his head looks super kind of fake,
Yeah.
So I wasn't a big fan of that, but mostly the gore is awesome. And as you kind of alluded to, I actually really loved the end of this. I loved the last shot. And
it was great.
I loved the last shot. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we're full of zingers today, guys.
Exactly. So, you guys, Downrange is something that is worth your time. So, as soon as it becomes available, I would definitely recommend you go and see it if you don't mind sort of a sparse plot that is full of carnage.
Yeah, I think we even talked about this when we were walking out. They could have trimmed it a little bit, and I felt like it would have been a tighter film. I mean, maybe shave about 10 minutes.
That's the way. It's the same I felt about Revenge.
Yeah,
both could have had about 15 minutes taken out of the middle portion in various spots, and it would have just had the film trucking along a little bit leaner and meaner.
Totally, yeah, and both being of the similar, I guess, approach in some ways, but both that succeeded in the promise of what they gave us in the trailers. I do recommend both films. I'm not sure which one I liked better, though. I liked
Downrange better.
Did you? Yeah.
We still haven't talked about Revenge, did we?
No, we did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Did we talk about all the blatant sexual exploitation?
We did indeed,
okay,
yes. Which thankfully we didn't really have here.
Exactly.
They didn't sexualize the chicks very much. Yeah,
they were both sort of similarly enjoyable, but that was just like so blatant.
Very
and in
deliberate
your face.
with its eye candy that it was going for.
And there was, a bit of a lack of body count in the other one compared to Downrange.
Yeah, so if you want more of a, I guess, upkeep of the promise, perhaps. I mean, go with Downrange.
Promise of the premise.
There you go. Yeah. Promise of the premise. I dig that.
All right. So, make sure you guys check it out when you get a chance. That's going to do it for our review of Downrange here at the Phoenix Film Festival 2018, straight out of the international and horror sci-fi side of things. So thank you very much to Jason and Monty from the festival, and, of course, Patrick from Allied for letting us come and cover the event once again this year. But, until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember,
Stay scared.